Where the civilizations of the East meet the civilizations of the West flows the second longest river in the world, the mighty Nile. Along its banks was born one of the most flourishing civilizations that history has known. Today, 2/3 of the population of Egypt are farmers, or fellahs as they are called. And although the total area of Egypt is 386,000 square miles, the cultivated area is only 12,355 square miles, a narrow ribbon of rich and fertile land along the banks of the river. Each year the river renews this fertility, and the very life of the fellahs is dependent upon this annual bounty. My small village is on the shores of the Nile about 15 miles from Cairo. Its name is Gezirat el-Dahab. It is similar to thousands of other villages in the Nile Valley, and our way of life has changed little since ancient times. The great majority of us are Muslims, and our religion means much to us. Each morning, Sheikh Ibrahim, who is in charge of the mosque, is the first to awaken, and it is by his call to prayer that the signal is given for our daily renewal. My name is Hassan. I live in a house made of mud bricks. The few fedans that I farm give me a modest income. Those who are more fortunate rent their lands and live in the city. Our cattle spend each night with us in our homes, and in the morning we take them with us to the field. There is very little rain, so we depend upon the Nile for all of our water needs. To help irrigate our land, we sometimes use a long drum-shaped instrument called a tambour. It is kept at home and taken to the fields when needed. Turning the tambour causes the water to spiral upwards and flow into the small irrigation trenches we dig through the fields. When the river floods, the water sinks into the sandy soil, and from November to July, the months of the drought, we can obtain water from wells. Water buffalo turn the large wooden wheels of these wells, no different today than in ancient times. These wells are called se'iyat. Small pails attached to the wheels bring the water to the surface where it pours into the irrigation ditches. Our winters are mild and the land is very fertile. Egypt has produced so much wheat in the past that history has called her the granary of the world. Today, cotton is the main crop, and it is famous throughout the world for the length of its fiber. In my fields, I grow mostly vegetables, which I sell in the town. At harvest time, my whole family helps me, as we must work quickly so as not to lose any of the crop. We also grow a great deal of clover, which is fed to our cattle. It greatly increases the quantity of milk our water buffalo produce. When my brother Ahmet has finished harvesting his wheat, he plows his field in preparation for planting cotton. Our plows are made of wood, and their shape and style have not changed for centuries. Some of the villagers are specialists in the making of the baskets we use so much in our daily lives. Their nimble fingers deftly weave the henna reeds into a great variety of shapes and sizes. During the periods of drought, hundreds of workers are busy on the banks of the Nile, gathering the fine silt left there by the retreating floodwaters. This earth is made into crude mud bricks. Stone quarries are too far away and the stone too expensive for us to use it in building our homes. The earth is packed into special forms and then allowed to dry under the hot rays of the sun. It makes a strong and durable brick. In fact, evidence of houses constructed of these bricks more than 4,000 years ago has been found. The village postman provides our link with the outside world. His first visit out of courtesy is to our security officers. The security officers, or police, are recruited from among ourselves. But there is little crime in our village, for we consider ourselves to be all members of one family. In fact, most of us are related by marriage. The village is quiet while the men are away working. If my wife is not helping me in the fields, she keeps busy with her own chores. She starts her day by feeding the chickens on the terrace of our house. The eggs they lay are sold in the local market. At the same time, my sister, Fatma, prepares the dough for the bread. It is made from maize flour. Every family bakes its own bread in the small outdoor ovens that are found in the yard of each house. A handful of dough is put on a round board and given a few shakes. It quickly takes the shape of the board. The baked loaves are round and flat. My daughter, Nafisa, is the prettiest girl in town. At least I think so. But that doesn't keep her from doing her work just like other girls her age. Balancing water jars made of clay or copper on their heads, the women go each morning to get the clean water from the public fountain. The water is stored in large clay jars. This method of storage comes down to us from the ancient Egyptians who had the same climatic problems. During the very hot days of the summer, we drink a great deal of water. The small clay pots are porous, and the drinking water keeps fresh and cool. Although some of our women have accepted complete emancipation, Islam forbids a woman to uncover her face before any man not of her family. A piece of cheese, a green onion, and some bread are prepared for my lunch, which my daughter brings to me each day in the fields. My daughter meets the postman in the village, and today he gives her a letter addressed to me. Education in the villages is more advanced today, but the fellas of my generation did not receive even a primary education. It is always pleasant to receive a letter, but it is sad that when my son, who is in the army, writes to me, I cannot read it myself. It is necessary to go to Sheikh Ibrahim, the man in charge of the mosque. He often does the job of public reader and writer, and during the days he teaches in the local school. Today, each village has its own school, and our children receive their first lessons by reading verses from the Koran. The Koran is the Bible of the Muslims, and it was inherited from our Prophet Muhammad.
ولم يكن له كفوا أحد صدق الله العظيم. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Sheikh Ibrahim always welcomes me warmly, and he needs no urging to read my letter.
أنا كنت جاي لك امال ديم أرضك يا عبد السميع تاكل منها تهملها تهملك ولا تلقيش لقمة تاكلها.
Left to herself, Nafisa loiters in the fields. She is young, and her heart is happy. Not too far away, a young man, Bakri, is dreamily playing his flute. We Egyptians love the music of this instrument. Nafisa hears the music, and she knows who is playing. They have been friends since childhood, and now they are growing up. Frequently seen in the Egyptian countryside are the fortune tellers. They belong to the Bedouin tribes and are numerous in our neighborhood. For a few cents, these people claim to be able to read the future in the special sand they carry with them in a handkerchief. Nafisa and Bakri are very interested in their future. The fortune teller gives them each a small stone to which they whisper their wishes. The stones are tossed onto the sand, and the fortune teller shows them how their positions have formed two crossing lines. This foretells a happy union that will take place soon, in 2 days, 2 weeks, or 2 months. This only confirms the happiness they are both anticipating. After the day's work, we have our evening meal in the yard of our house. The entire family sits at a low, round table with the food placed in the center, and everyone serves himself. Beans cooked for hours and served with oil and lemon are a favorite of ours. Green onions, eggs, and fresh water are always served. The local coffee shop is our meeting place, and this Friday, our day of rest, I have arranged to meet and discuss the marriage arrangements for my daughter. Bakri is accompanied by his parents, but I am alone, for according to Islamic law, it is the father or guardian of the girl who makes all her decisions, and she must abide by them. We quickly come to an agreement whereby they will give 20 pounds, not in payment for my daughter, but as security for her and her future happiness. When we hear the call of the muezzin, we purify ourselves and assemble in the mosque to pray. Out of respect, we leave our shoes at the door. This Friday, our two families go to the mosque together and, turning towards Mecca, pray for the approaching marriage. On our way out, I was surprised by an old friend, Hussein, who is wealthier than I and lives in the capital. It is our tradition to honor every traveler who passes by, so I invited him to have a meal at our home. My wife welcomed our guest by preparing a special lentil soup. Our women, though, are not admitted to the presence of a stranger in the house. Although individually we are poor, we fellas form the majority of the population, and it is through our combined work that the wealth of the nation is built. I was able to persuade my friend Hussein to to stay and attend the wedding of my daughter. A few days before the marriage, friends and relatives of both families began to arrive from neighboring villages. They all brought presents according to their means. Even the sheikh of the neighboring village honored us with his attendance. Early on the morning of the wedding, the town is alive with excitement. Festivities start after the signature of the marriage contract, which takes place in private. A tournament reserved for men and children is organized in the center of the village. It is a duel using sticks that we enjoy on all important occasions. While the duel is in progress, the bride and groom, each in their own homes, have a solution of henna applied to their hands and feet. This solution is intended to bring heaven's benediction to the marriage. After the tournament, the men gather and drink tea. In the afternoon, the procession starts. It will take the bridegroom through the streets of the village to his new home, where the bride is already waiting. The windows lining the route are filled with women and children cheering the young bridegroom. Riding a magnificent Arab horse and wearing a large cape and white silk cap, the bridegroom is followed by the crowd of guests and the men of the village. Arriving at his destination, the bridegroom is escorted by two of his best friends to the door of his new home. This home will see the growth of a new family of fellas. The ancient Egyptians built some of the greatest monuments in the history of the world. But it is the humble attachment of the simple fellah to his land, his family, his village, and to the traditions of his past that assures the survival of the people of Egypt throughout the centuries.